5 seconds to go. In the Honorable High Court of Delhi, this writ petition has been filed by the petitioner seeking protection of his fundamental rights under Articles 14 and 21 of the Constitution of India. The petitioner states that he was serving as an assistant engineer in the Public Works Department and was placed under suspension without any valid reasons or notice. It is further stated that no charge sheet was served upon him even after 6 months of suspension, which is contrary to the rules and principles of natural justice. The learned counsel appearing for the petitioner submitted that the order of suspension is arbitrary, illegal, and passed without application of mind. He argued that the respondent authority has misused its power and that such suspension amounts to punishment without inquiry. The learned counsel relied upon various judgments of the Honorable Supreme Court, including the case of Ajay Kumar Chaudhary versus Union of India, to submit that a suspension order cannot continue indefinitely and must be reviewed periodically. On the other hand, the learned counsel for the respondents submitted that the suspension was necessary in view of the ongoing departmental inquiry and that the competent authority was satisfied that the continuance of the petitioner in office would prejudice the inquiry. He further submitted that the delay in framing the charge sheet was due to administrative reasons and not intentional. The Honorable Court, after hearing both parties, observed that while the employer has the power to place an employee under suspension, such power must be exercised reasonably and with due care. The court noted that suspension has serious civil consequences and therefore cannot be allowed to continue for an unlimited period. The court further observed that prolonged suspension causes mental agony, loss of reputation, and financial hardship to the employee concerned. The Honorable Judge referred to earlier decisions of the Supreme Court holding that suspension should not be used as a tool of harassment or to keep an employee under constant pressure. The court emphasized that the principles of natural justice must be followed in every administrative action that affects the livelihood of an individual. The court further remarked that fairness in action is the hallmark of good governance and forms an integral part of Article 14 of the Constitution. The Honorable Judge also noted that the purpose of suspension is not to punish but only to facilitate a free and fair inquiry. Therefore, once the inquiry is delayed for reasons not attributable to the employee, continuation of suspension loses its justification. After considering the submissions, the court directed the respondents to complete the inquiry within a period of 3 months. It was also directed that if the charge sheet is not served within 30 days, the petitioner shall be reinstated with all consequential benefits. The Honorable Court reminded the authorities that justice must not only be done but must also appear to have been done. The court further observed that public administration must act with fairness and transparency while dealing with its employees. The court expressed hope that the disciplinary authority would take prompt action in accordance with law and ensure that such delays do not occur in future. The learned counsel for the petitioner also submitted that during suspension, the petitioner was paid only subsistence allowance, which was insufficient to maintain his family. He prayed that the allowance be enhanced, considering the facts and circumstances of the case. The Honorable Court directed the respondent department to pay the petitioner full subsistence allowance as per rules until the completion of the inquiry. The court also advised the government to issue guidelines for periodic review of suspension cases. It was observed that unnecessary suspension not only affects the morale of employees but also causes financial loss to the exchequer. The Honorable Judge stated that fairness and reasonableness are twin pillars of good administration, and any deviation from them results in arbitrariness, which is prohibited under Article 14. The court reiterated that equality before law and equal protection of law are the foundation of our constitutional system. Every administrative decision must be guided by public interest and the rule of law. The Honorable Court concluded that while the government must maintain discipline and efficiency, it should also ensure that its actions do not appear vindictive or unjust. In the result, the writ petition was allowed with the above directions. The court expressed appreciation for both sides for their assistance in disposal of the case. Before parting, the Honorable Judge observed that justice delayed is justice denied, and that administrative authorities must act with a sense of responsibility and urgency. The court further directed the registry to send a copy of this order to the Chief Secretary of the Government of Delhi for circulation among all departments. It was also observed that transparency in government is the true measure of accountability, and that every officer must remember that power is a trust reposed in him by law for the benefit of the public. With these remarks, the petition stands disposed of. The Honorable Judge further observed that in the light of the evidence presented and the arguments advanced by both sides, it was clear that the accused had shown gross negligence in performing his duty as a public servant. Such negligence not only caused loss to the government exchequer but also lowered the public trust in the functioning of the institution. The court remarked that every officer of the state must perform his duty with utmost honesty and transparency, and failure to do so invites legal consequences. The court directed the competent authority to ensure that similar incidents do not occur in future by strengthening the internal vigilance and disciplinary mechanisms. The accused was given an opportunity to file an appeal within 30 days.